questions on this here in a moment, and we'll have a, make sure we feel good about the review. I will not be here Thursday or Friday this week, not because I'm going on vacation. Friday night, got a text from my sister saying, call me. Got a text from my sister saying, call me. And my mom passed away on Saturday night. So, something that I kind of knew it was coming. I didn't realize it was going to be this soon. My mom's health had been pretty crappy for the past 2 years. She was diagnosed with something called pulmonary hypertension, which is basically where the blood pressure on one side of your lungs is higher than the other, which is not normal. And that kind of took her out of ever going to higher elevations, such as Colorado. So my parents haven't been here for some time because my mom couldn't handle the elevation. This past September, I think you recall that I told you my mom had caught COVID and she was hospitalized. And when I saw her in October, Mom's first words to me were, "Did you bring your gun? And if so, shoot me in the head now." And of course, I jokingly said that to my mother. That's not a normal salutation you say to your son. But after she was hospitalized with COVID and was released, she looked like she got run over by 20 trains and then got eaten by sharks. She looked horrible. This past, right before Christmas, we was able to take my family, so my daughters and my wife and I went down to Arizona. My daughters had some very good quality time with my mom. And I talked to my mom Sunday of last week. I always called my parents on Sunday, call them on Facebook because that's about as far as they can go with technology. Of course, a lot of times when I'm talking from their cameras facing that way, not this way, so you'll figure that out with your parents as well at some point. I imagine they do the same thing, or you're looking at their ear because they, on FaceTime, you're like, look at your phone. Oh, there you are. But gotta love aging population, but it is what it is. And then, so my parents were, they were, RV people. So for about 10 years of their retirement, they traveled all around the United States in their big camper and they enjoyed it. And then they started, because Mom's health wasn't as good as it should have been, they would stay in Flagstaff, Arizona during the summers when it was nice and cool, and go down to Lake Pleasant during the winters, and the pulmonary hypertension hit, so they had to stay at Lake Pleasant, staying at a lower elevation. And my mom had told me the last time I spoke with her, she kind of said, I hope when I pass away as fast as my mother did. And she got that wish. So she, Saturday night, around 8:30 our time, she told my dad, I'm going to take a shower before I go to bed. What's up?
What was the homework?
Okay, so 143, 144.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. She told my dad, I'm going to take a shower before I go to bed. So she took a shower, and she called to my dad after she got out of the shower, because Dad walked in the bathroom and said, hey, can you dry me off? I'm really cold. My dad was helping her, and she was pretty weak, and she was on full-time oxygen, so my dad was basically drying her off. She said, get the towel off me, I'm burning up. Dad takes the towel off, and she claps my dad's arms, passed away. That's a fact. Not news I wanted to hear, but it's part of this big cycle, or this big game of life we play. So, of course, my wife, hearing that information, is booking me a flight to leave yesterday. I'm like, oh, I put the brakes on. I know it's reactionary. Let me see what they let me talk to them. I talk to my dad and my sister, because my sister lives in my parents' house. Well, my parents were RVing, and then my parents were able to get back to their house. So, I talked to my dad and my sister quite a bit over the past 48 hours, and though the support of me would probably be what my dad would like right this second, there was an awful lot that has to take care of. So today, probably in the next hour or so, my dad and sister are going out to the funeral home where my mom is at, and making arrangements. And the funeral for my mom won't be this weekend. I will just go down for leave Wednesday night after school and fly down and spend Thursday through through Sunday and get back, be back here on Monday. But what I would like to know, so just so you know, I'm okay. I'm not, yes, I'm saddened by this whole event, but I do grieve. Don't worry, I'm not, some monster going too much. You upset. Sure, I will miss my mom dearly. Don't take that as the wrong way. But what I need to know from you guys, so Thursday and Friday, I would not expect to have your cell phones up front. Makes sense so far. What I would like to do is kind of have like a progressive type of lesson on Thursday and Friday where, can you all get on the Schoology on your phones? Is there anyone who can't? If you are somebody who can't, will you sit next to somebody, drag your desk over to sit with somebody, or take one of these chairs next to somebody so you could go through and watch the video? So what I'd like, when I say it's a progressive video, I'm basically going to be like, work a few examples, and then I'll say, okay, get to this page in your notebook. Go ahead and try, hit pause now and try number 1. And then when you're done with it, see how you did. And just kind of progressively go through, hopefully, and I realize Friday is a short schedule because we have an assembly schedule. You would be able to do that. But is that something that would be okay, rather than having some sub try and figure out the electronics? I don't think that's fair. They come in going, how does this work? And all of a sudden you walk in going, oh no, they're writing with markers on the storage board. Oh no. But I would just ask you to please treat the sub kindly. I will leave a note saying, yes, if a student needs to go to the restroom, please allow them to go. I know I'm pretty loose on if you have to go to the bathroom, maybe Thursday, Friday, just make sure you ask to go to the restroom, and then perhaps they would have something in place saying, hey, one at a time is fine to go, rather than, I don't really feel that any of you are using the restroom privileges. I just know that a sub, if a sub ever says I have control of the class, they're lying. But I've known you guys for long enough, and you know stuff. Yes, you're going to talk. That's normal. Yes, you will have your phones in hand, but I think you realize me teaching is on your phone. So if you're sitting there on Snapchat the entire time, and then come Monday, like, yeah, I didn't do anything Thursday, Friday, I kind of look at it going, you made the choice. So that's what I'm looking out for. Okay. I just, I want to make sure that I don't have any goop ups in their education. Of course, on Saturday night when I'm trying to figure out everything, I went for a long walk and I called a couple of my buddies in Arizona, and I was just walking around, talking to my buddies on the phone and walking around my neighborhood. And then I got home and I started sitting down and going, okay, if I were to take the entire week off, how could I make this work? And I was just trying to figure it out. And there was no, yes, I understand that you all are caring people who would understand, dude, he just lost his mom. He's not here for the week. I get it. But I also wanted to look out for you as best. I mean, it's not like I'm hurrying home to, see my mom's last breath. That took place Saturday night. So, but just definitely a tough time. I mean, and I know that each and every one of you come to me have walked a different path. Some of you have walked a easier path than others, and I'm not trying to discount what anyone has ever gone through in life, but I mean, part of the ins and outs of life is, birth and death and unfortunately sickness. And if you ask me what's the biggest unfair thing in life, it has nothing to do with people passing away. That's the fact that my dog will only last from 10 to 15 years, so it's not fair that the dogs that I've beloved, and if you care about dogs, one of people know that's the same. just saying that. I definitely had dogs in my life that I didn't like the fact that they're gone. That's silly. You know, kind of a weird person. But I just wanted to be straightforward and honest with you. So when you come in on Thursday and Friday, you won't be here. That doesn't mean you have a great time. Yes, there is something that is assigned. It is on Schoology. Yes, I do understand sometimes Schoology gets goofy in this room, right? So, do the best you can to make it work. If you find that there's, 5 or 6 of you that make the video work and the rest you can't, why don't you just kind of pull your desks together and in whatever groups you need to, but please put the desks back appropriately. I mean, it'd be preferable if you could go through on your own, but I also understand there are hiccups that do take place with technology. Agreed? So that's why. So I'm just telling you to be honest with you. That's what I'm going through. I mean, so if you see me kind of in a fog, more of a fog than normal, you know that I got a couple things on my mind. Not that you all are doing anything wrong. Maybe that's what we should do. That's right. Is that okay? Cool. So, questions from the homework I can help you with? Anything that you saw on page 143, 144? Yeah.
You do 12.
12, absolutely. Is that the Route 98 one?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm on the right page. All right, so we have Root 98, and we have x to the 5th and y to the 3rd, okay? So I can tell you that Root 98 is not a perfect square. It's close to a perfect square of 10, which would be 100, but it's not exactly that. So we want to, just off to the side, kind of think about our perfect squares, which would be basically these. Hope I didn't forget any. It is possible. So what I would do on the calculator is you realize Root 98 is here. Okay? For the most part, you know the one right there, unless it is that, it's not, it's going to, you can't use. So if you want 98 on your calculator, whether it's your phone or your personal calculator, if you did that, that just comes out to a decimal. If I did this one, again, that's going to be this way, and that still comes out to a decimal. But if you chose the 49, 49 times 2 would give me 98. Does that make sense? And that means 49 is the biggest perfect square that goes into 98. So I'm just going to, and some of you can do this in your head. I just try to write the steps down for you. In order to make the letter that is raised to an exponent a perfect square, you want to make sure you're raised to even power. So you're going to go to one less than to the 5th is to the 4th. So if I were to multiply those back together, I would get x to the 5th, because remember, adding the exponents. And then I'm going to break y to the 3rd down to y to the 2nd. Oops, I don't know why I have a plus there. I'm sorry about that. Let's move this over. So y to the 3rd breaks down to y squared and y, or y to the 1st. And then go through and take a look at your perfect squares. So the square root of 49 is 7. So 7 is going to be outside the radical. Square root of x to the 4th is x to the 2nd. Remember, you take half of it when you take it out of the square root. And the square root of y to the 2nd is y. And then whatever I have left behind stays under the radical, so you get 2xy underneath. And that would be our entire answer. Yeah?
Can we do number 15?
15, you got it. Is that the one that's 5 root 21 times 2 root 14?
No, it's...
Or which one did you say?
15.
15, I'm sorry, I went to 14. I'm looking at the wrong ones. Number 15. All right, so I got a big square root. It's over a big fraction. Okay, so everything there is under the radical sign. Okay? The nice thing about this one is it appears that 16 is a perfect square, so that's 4. 49 is a perfect square, so square root of 49 is 7. And then each of these are both perfect squares, so I just would take half of it, and half of that, that's x squared, or y squared. And there's no longer a radical, because everything underneath was a perfect square, so you took the square root of it, radical is gone. What else? Yeah?
Can you do number 20?
20. Oh, yeah. All right. A mistake has been made in each. Find the mistake. Okay.
So number 20. So you might see this, any of these problems we work, you might see tomorrow. I haven't seen the quiz yet, but they might look similar to this. So the first thing I say is, hey, this breaks down to root 3 over root 5, which is totally right. You could have left it all under a big square root, but that's basically what's taking place. They say that we are going to, so what we should have done is multiply both the top and bottom by root 5 and root 5. So that you should have gotten root 15 over root 25. So that would have been root 15 over 5. So where the mistake took place, it looks like they didn't do that, I think. What else can I do? Caleb, got any? No? What else do you see that I could help you out with? Yeah. 16. Okay. Number 16, I have 2 root 3xy. And then we have times 4 root 6xy. Okay, thank you for asking about that one. This one right now, neither of these square roots have perfect squares underneath them. Okay? But you have to know that I am allowed to multiply outside, outside, and inside, inside. Now, sometimes multiplying outside, outside, that becomes quick and easy to give you 8. And that's pretty firm. We could multiply inside, inside, but that's going to give me root 18. Other ways we might want to think about this is 3 won't break down, but 6 will break down to 3 times 2. And being that I have a pair of 3's, that means I would have made a root 9, which is a perfect square. Does that make sense?
Yep.
You follow what I just did? Okay, so nothing happened to this 3. It just came straight down, but 6 broke down into 3 and 2. And that gave me a pair of 3's, and the pair of 3's is a perfect square. And then I have an x and an x, that gives me x squared, and I have a y and a y, that gives me a y squared if we multiply. So notice we're multiplying under and under. Okay? I could have made this 3, 3, and 2 and 18 and then broken it down. It's kind of, so some people might have chosen to have this. And that's also correct. It's just a matter of how you choose to do it. So this is a perfect square. So that means outside I'm going to get a 3. Because 3 times 3 is 9. The square root of 9 is 3. This is a perfect square. This is a perfect square. Again, I'm taking half of it. I don't have to. I could write it both to the first, but I don't have to. And then what I have left is a root 2 underneath. Now, if you saw it that way, this is great. If you didn't see it that way, here's an alternative way of looking at it. Okay. We can now know that if I listed my perfect squares, we could probably stop there. That root 18 falls there, and then 9 times something is 18. Okay, so you're going to realize that it's 9 times 2, x squared, y squared. Square root of 9 is 3, so you bring a 3 out front. Square root of those is still the same, and you're left with the root 2, so you wind up with 24xy. It's supposed to be a 24, not 214. So you get that. You asked that one, right? No. Who asked that on that one? Can I help you? Does that help you? Okay, cool. What else could I help you with?
Number 13.
Yeah. Number 13. So you got a big ol' square root sign, 144 x to the 6th over 81 y to the 3rd. Okay? So there's only one thing underneath there that is not a perfect square, and that's the y to the 3rd. So I'm going to break that up first before I start rooting anything. Y squared y is the same thing as y to the 3rd if I put it back together. The reason I did that is 2 is an even number, so now I can do the square root. So let's take care of the square root. Square root of 144 is 12. Square root of 81 is 9. Square root of x to the 6th is x to the 3rd. Square root of y to the 2nd is y, but then I'm left with a square root y on bottom. Okay? So that's a good one to ask about. There's kind of a lot to it. I'm not done with it yet, but we'll pause there and make sure you feel comfortable with what I've done so far. You feel good? Good. All right. A couple of things that we could do all at once. I can reduce 12. 3 goes into both 12 and 9. So if I reduce my fraction, I'm going to get 4 over 3. Then I get x to the third, y, and then root y. And then we had learned that we can't have a root in the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both top and bottom by root y and root y. So on top, that's going to give me 4x to the third root y. On bottom, if I were to multiply those together, I would get root y squared. And root y squared is just y. And then I have this y to contend with, so that's going to give me 3yy, which is 3y squared. And that would be done. So there's kind of a lot of stuff taking place on that one. Okay. Is there anything else I could help you with on this? Feel okay? Key, you good?
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Tomorrow. Do what? Do what? Just a quiz. I'm sure it'll be like a front, back, like 18 pages, 7,000 problems. Just kidding. It's probably 6,000. All right. Friends, would you turn to page 145? Page 145. I'm going to go sit back yonder, not because you're all doing anything bad. I just want to sit down. Is that okay? Can I sit back here with you guys? Any offense? You're offended. I'm sorry. All right. So page 145. So I'm not going to worry about too much of the odds. Well, let's start this. If I were to take a look at number 1. So we're just adding these together. So can I add them together as they sit? What do you think? Think I can? Is it the same roots on both? No, one's a root 4 and one's a root. Yeah, so is square root of 4 a perfect square? Yeah, so I'm going to get 3 times 2, because square root of 4 is 2, plus what? 3, yeah. And then just do the multiplication here, so I get 6 plus 3. And these all happen to be like terms, so we just wind up with an answer being 9 on problem number 1. Yeah, and I'm just going to kind of probably just go down the left column right now and then see if there's anything left that I can help you with.
So you were actually able to solve them?
Well,
Single number.
yeah. If it comes all the way out, do it. Do it. Cool. All right, I'm going to go down to number 4, so I'm going directly down. So I get 5 square root 75 minus 2 square root 48. Now, do we all agree that we cannot subtract these as they sit right now because we have 2 unlike terms? Okay, so does anyone want to take a shot at what I could break 75 up to where one of the numbers would be a perfect square? Let's list perfect squares. I got 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100. That should be enough. How much?
25.
Yeah, very good. So 25 times 3 is 75. Agree? And then minus 2. What about 48? So let's look at the 48 for a second. 48 falls about right here. So will 36 times some number give me 48? No. What about 25 times a number? Will 16 times a number give me 48?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, this is why I start from the bottom and go to the top. You're looking for your biggest perfect square. Some of you might be sitting there looking, going, yeah, but 4 times something would have given me 48 as well. You're absolutely right, but you didn't find the biggest perfect square. So 16 times 3, and if you use the calculator, if you want 48 divided by 16, you would come out to 3, and that's what you want. So now this is going to work nicely. So what's the square root of 25, friends? 5. So that becomes 5 root 3, and we still have to put that together a little bit. And then what's the square root of 16? 4. And then we're going to multiply the numbers out front, so I get 25 root 3 minus 8 root 3. And then we just subtract. These are now like terms because they're the same radical. So 25 subtract 18 is 17, and the root 3 stays as is. It acts just like an x would act if you had like terms that way. You feel okay about that, my friends? So you might.
So you're not subtracting the three from each other?
No, they act like an x. So if you had like 25x and 8x, it would be 17x. It works the exact same way. Cool. May I move on? Or is anyone still writing? We good? You writing down what you need to write down? All right, let's see. Number 7. Number 7 seem okay? So I get root 6 times root 2 minus root 6. Okay, so we're going to distribute here. We can multiply inside to inside. That'll work. So if I multiply that, I'm going to wind up with root 12. If I multiply these together, I'm going to wind up with root 36. So 12, what's the biggest perfect square that works with 12? 4. Very good. So 4 and 3. And then square root of 36, that should be nice. That just comes out to 6, I believe. And then square root of 4 is 2, so I get 2 root 3 minus 6. And that problem's done. You can't go any further than that because the 6 doesn't have a like term of root 3 to combine it with. Can I move forward? Everyone seem okay? Dude, deja vu. Oh, wow. I like just the vision of me sitting here. Oh, man. There's the fog. Let me just go with it. It's like, what's wrong with stirrup? Just let them be. Number 10, root 54, x to the third, y to the fourth. Okay, so I'm going to write my perfect squares down so I know I got 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64. All right, so root 54, 54 would be about there. So 49 times a number, a whole number, give us 54? No. What about 36? Let's see, 36 times 1 is 36. 36 times 2 is 72. That's not going to work. 25. 25 times 2 is 50. No, that's not going to work. 16, let's see. 6 times 4, you think? 4 might work. Well, let's see. No, 4 times. Nope, that's not going to work. Does it, what? Yeah. There you go. So 54 is 9 times 6, where 9 is the biggest perfect square that's going to work. Hey, what should I do to x to the third to have a perfect square as part of it?
X to the second.
Yeah, very good. Excellent. Great job. Is y to the fourth a perfect square? So I don't have to break that up because it's raised to an even number. All right. What is the square root of 9? 3. What's the square root of x squared? X. Very good. Square root of y to the fourth? Y to the second. What was left behind? 6. Anything else? Yay. Done. Good, good, good. Hey, here's a side note. So number 15, they have it as 25 raised to the 1/2 power. Remember, that means the square root. Whoa, hey, time out. No straight lines here. That means the square root of 25. What's the square root of 25? 5. Yeah, 15 is a real easy one. I just wanted to point that out because it kind of sprung it on you. And then number 13. What's special about number 13, friends? Yeah, it's a perfect square over a perfect square, right? Square root of 49 is 7. Square root of 36 is 6. Check to see if you can reduce. It will not reduce. Let's keep that as our answer. Are there any other problems on 1 through 15 that are sticking out going, ooh, I'd like a little guidance? Yeah, eventually. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, go ahead. Number 2. Okay. Number 2, I have 8 root 11 plus 2 root 3 plus root 11. Okay, so I need to realize that root 11 is the same thing as 1 root 11. I can go ahead and add those together. So that's going to give me 9 root 11. And then the 2 root 3 comes along for the ride. They are not like terms, so you're all set. You could have this answer like this as well. The order is not vital. I'm sure there's some math teacher that's going to have some hierarchical power that says this is what should come first, but in my opinion, they're both equivalent. So you pick whatever answer works for you. Is there anything else on 1 through 15 that I could help you with? Take an honest look, my friends. Yeah. 9? I'm in. Number 9, I can squeeze that here, I think. 2 root 7, 3 root 5, 4 root 7. Okay, so we can multiply numbers outside and we can multiply numbers inside. I just can't combine inside to outside or outside to inside. So if I multiply here, that's going to give me 6. And then root 7 times root 5 is root 35. And then I'm going to distribute that here. Minus 8 root 49. So we have to think, can I break 35 down into a perfect square times another number? I know that 1 times 35, that didn't really help me. 5 times 7. Is there anything else that would work to give me 35? Or is that it? 6 times 6 is 36, so that's real close, but not quite. So I think root 35 needs to stay as is for right now. Okay, I don't think it's going to break down any further. Will root 49 break down? And if so, what does it break down to? Yeah, so then you just say 6 root 35 minus 8 times 7, which I believe is 56, unless I'm no longer able to do math, which is yet to be seen. Is it 56, right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. Whew. Go ahead.
Number 11.
11. Yeah, number 11 I can squeeze right here for you. Root 11, I got 144 x to the 6th over 81 y to the 3rd. All right, so 144 is a perfect square, which is 12. X to the 6th is also a perfect square, which is x to the 3rd. 81 is a perfect square, which is 9. But then I have to realize I need to break down y to the 3rd to y squared y. Okay? So things I can do, I can realize that 3 goes into both of those, so I'm going to wind up with 4 over 3. X to the 3rd is going to stay as it is. The square root of y squared is y, but then I have a root y. So there's one last thing I have to do to this problem. What is it? What do you think? Yeah, multiply the root y on top and bottom. I like it. So you do that. So that means that I get 4x to the 3rd root y. That's on top. What is root y times root y? Yeah, it's going to come out to y squared, which is just y. So then I multiply this y and this y together, bring the 3 along, so then I get 3y squared. And that is our answer. All right. Let's see. So 147, 148. I think, my friends, that you could handle completing page 147, 148. We will definitely go over those tomorrow. It looks like you have some time to work on it. If you need some help, let me know. But I think I'm done recording at this point. Is that okay? Question? Okay. Yeehaw.